Makes you want to dance just hearing that music, doesn't it? Hey, you guys, how you doing? It's Elizabeth Marasco. It is so good to be here today. And I got to tell you, this morning I woke up with a doozy of a headache. So I'm glad to be feeling well. And that way the lights aren't bothering me. Can you see me now? Hi, everybody. So if you're here with me today, give me a hashtag I'm live. Or if you're coming back later on with the replay, give me a hashtag replay. So I'm curious how you guys did yesterday. Did you take the time to think about an event that you might want to do? You're supposed to think about a date between now and Christmas time and also an event theme. If you did that, give me a heart because that means that you're showing your business some love. One of the things with this challenge, you're going to have to start to take the steps and execute it, implement it, go after it instead of waiting and creating like notes or a to-do list for later. Procrastination becomes one of the most defeating things for business owners. You've got 5 million things to do, but when you get into a project like this, if you jump in both feet and you don't stop, it's how you can create some momentum. So I'm hoping that for you during the next 4 days that we have left during this workshop so that you can get rolling into some good times for your business, because I want you to have prosperity and all kinds of good things happening to you still in 2020. So for today, one of the things that I want to share with you is the concept on event strategies and formats when you're going online with your event. And there's so many different ways that you can do your event. It's sort of like, what's grandma's secret recipe for Christmas cookies? Everybody's going to have different kinds of cookies and different recipes, and you've got to start becoming comfortable with what is your recipe and creating it and experimenting, trial and error to find out what's working, maybe what's not working, and improve. And that's how you get to the place of having a successful business model. And so before we jump into some things today, if you can just do, quick shut off of your phone notifications and maybe shut down the 5 million windows that you have open so that we can just focus on event strategies and formats today. And trust me, I get it. Life is super, super busy, but I'm going to make sure that the time that we're spending in here today, that you're going to walk away with a better understanding of, what's streaming in live and all these fancy terms that you might be hearing, like, webinar and challenges and evergreen, all these things that we keep hearing over and over. But so if we can, let's just jump into it. So with events, really the purpose is about connecting, and we talked briefly yesterday about the C's of events: content, connection, communication, and then of course, if you can include commerce, that makes it even better, right? And sometimes commerce might happen after the event, but your events really should be driven by a purpose. And this helps determine which strategies and formats you should use so that you can get to your goals. And just like there's a different car for different purposes, like if you want to go, speeding, you're going to be comfortable driving a sports car, maybe a Corvette. But at the same time, if you want to go off-road Bajan, you better have a Jeep, because you take that Corvette, it's going to get stuck. So the same thing with your formats that you have with your business and the strategies that you use. You need to know what kind of vehicle and what kind of fuel momentum you need to get to your finish line. And, communication, the way that we have used communication as human beings has evolved over the years. We had the cavemen that were doing their artistic painting in the caves and, communicating with grunts and pulling hair and who knows what else they were doing, right? And over time, we acquired the ability to do writing and, speaking and finding words that could express what we were feeling, within ourselves. And eventually we ended up getting into this really cool technology age that we're in. But believe it or not, it started a long time ago. Technically, the first text or telegraph was sent in 1844, and you would probably know it by Morse code. So the guy that actually started Morse code, his name was Samuel Morse, and he was an artist of sorts. He didn't do well in school. He had a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. He's very he was pro-slavery, anti-Catholic, and probably a little bit anti-Semitic. So he wasn't necessarily a good dude, but he had the ability of bringing in technology to us to allow us to communicate at faster speeds than ever humanly possible. So the first text was sent from Washington to Baltimore. Now imagine the advancement of that starting to take place, where you could send a critical message almost instantaneously through this thing called the telegram, right? And actually, the very last telegram was sent in 2014. So it lasted, almost like this almost 200-year span. And that became this way of electronic communication of one point A communicating to point B without there being like a human factor. It was all digital. And look where we're at now in 2020. We have the ability to send text anytime. We have the ability to send video. We have the ability, it's almost like the Jetsons. Did you guys watch the Jetsons when you were a kid? I used to love it. George. Anyhow, and they would do these, conversations with video. Now, back in the 70s and 80s, it wasn't even, like, my great big clunky TV. Back in the 70s, you really didn't even have remotes so much. You had to get up and turn the channel. So, my kids today, this is like the expectation. This is the standard normal. That you're doing FaceTime, that communication is easily available right in the palm of your hand. So as you look at like how the market is, and you have like these different experiences with technologies, from our seniors who maybe aren't as comfortable with texting or email, to, you see these 3-year-olds, literally 3-year-olds that are like, I'll send the photo, they don't have to do a video. It's insane. But we're in this phenomenal time where communication is available still in multiple formats. But as business owners, we need to understand who's the market that we're speaking with, because there'll be different skill sets and different technologies and different formats that they're comfortable communicating versus others. So, sending a letter to a grandma to get her to come to a website would be more appropriate than sending a letter to maybe a 13-year-old. They just wouldn't get it. I mean, they would get it, but for them, it would be send me a text, and in fact, some of them don't even want to. What's up with people not wanting to talk on the phone? Is send me a text. We need to make sure that we keep that human factor going in communication and keeping things rich and personal. But the thing that I want you to realize is technology has evolved a lot, and really 1844 wasn't that long ago that the first in the span of time of all existence, 1844 wasn't that long of time ago. So think about it. If we've come this far with technology, where could it go in the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? There's a lot of opportunity. Now, as technology's developed, the next round of technology happens faster. So, we got to stay up on our skill set. And as business leaders, it's detrimental. You need to understand how to communicate on different platforms, including utilizing, social media. So, as you understand this, it's going to help you connect with your tribe. So right now, TikTok, whether that's going to stay or not, I don't know. I don't know if you have been following that, between the debate between Microsoft and Oracle and our federal government, having some mandates for national security. And I get that. I respect that they're checking into that. But right now, all the little ones, they're over. When I say little ones, I'm talking well, even some of us adults, I kind of like going over to that TikTok because it's funny. It's just fun and funny. But the youth are hanging out on TikTok and Snapchat. They're maybe coming to Facebook because they want to have an account to connect with their family, but where they're hanging out, it's a different platform. So we're going to have to embrace this idea of a willingness to learn new things and expand, or you're hiring the experts that are going out and discovering these technologies and platforms and sharing it with you so you don't have to go through the headache. Personally, for me, I love it. I love learning about technology. I'm what I'm going to call, I'm a little bit of a techie nerd. I'm going to admit it. And I like it. I've always been that way. I think when I was younger, I maybe tried to hide it, but I do. I like it. And the advantage is it gives me a chance to play around and expand my mind. So tell me in the comments, are you a techie or a no techie? Tell me in the comments. I want to know if you like learning and discovering new software, or if you kind of like people to say, this is how you do it, and this is the tool you should use. Let me know down in the comments. Now, today I'm actually using this thing that's called StreamYard. And hey, Joey. Hey, Andrea. It's good to see you guys. Now, in StreamYard, you have to click on this one link so I can see your name. Otherwise, it'll just show, I think, Facebook user or YouTube user, because I am actually streaming right now to 3 different locations on this one and another one over here. So I'm kind of scattered all over the internet. So wherever you're watching me from, hi. But this is the thing. With picking out your format of how you want to present your story or your online event, it's going to go back to, what is your message and purpose, and who are you trying to share it with? And those should all blend together. So different formats could include things like webinars. I'm sure you guys have seen a dozen, maybe 1,000 of them online. Also challenges or workshops like the one you're doing right here with me this week. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you. And also, it doesn't even have to be like a big group. It could be a one-on-one event. And, thinking of it in terms of how would you host an event offline and how you could bring it online, it's the same thing. There's different formats. So, whether that is you want to do a demonstration and teach people or showcase something, there's different platforms and different formats for doing that. Now, one of the things you may have heard a lot is evergreen. And basically what evergreen means is pieces of content that are pre-recorded and pre-created, like it could be templates and things like that. And it's ready to go. And then you connect your audience into it, and you can either have it where, you're doing it free, or where they do a pay for service to be able to participate. Like, for instance, in this one, I'm recording everything live. And then that way, if you have questions, you can come on here and you can come talk to me. You can say, hey, I'm having a problem with this, or I don't know what to do. And I can address you. But later on, I will actually take these videos. They'll be deleted from the group and from the page and deleted everywhere on the internet. And then they'll be archived into our members area. So later on, if I wanted to take it and create a webinar on all things online event created, it's easy because I have everything right there. But some of the ways that you can communicate your online event could be doing it live. Like right now, I'm live, but I happen to be using a streaming service, and in this case, I'm using StreamYard, and I'm going to share a couple of the different streaming services that you can use. There's multiple, but like I said to you earlier, I'm a little bit of a techie geek. So I've played with many of them, and I'm going to give you a little bit of my insight on what I like on some of them, and and at a certain point, you've got to just make, a decision that you're going to use a certain software so that you're not paying for 5 or 10 different services that you don't need. So we want to be practical with your budget for all of your marketing tools, because it adds up. All of these little things add up. I should probably do a video on what are all the software and services that I use in my agency and what it costs me monthly. It's pretty absurd, but for me, it's an investment and it's worth it. So now, okay, we're going to get into the techie trash talk. If you're not a big techie person, I promise it's going to be painless. And when I say painless, not painless like you rip a band-aid off of a really hairy arm and somebody lied to you. I promise it's going to be painless. But I want you to be able to walk away with the understanding of what some of these buzzwords are and different ways that you can take this technology and implement it right into your business. So, like I said to you, right now I'm streaming on StreamYard, and all that means is I'm live, but I happen to be sending this video out to 1, 2, 3, 4 different locations. So on Facebook, it looks like I have maybe 3 over here, maybe 2 over here. So I've got multiple people that are watching the same video from different locations. So, hey, everybody, thanks for joining me. I appreciate you. So getting into that, like the video, the streaming that you can use, like some of them would include, like StreamYard is one of the big ones that I do personally really like. It's easy to use, super easy. It does have some integration that's seamless into Facebook. So for instance, every single live that we're doing this week, I've pre-scheduled everything. I've got StreamYard and Facebook connected between the artwork, the text, and it makes it easy for me to be able to tag some of you that expressed interest in attending this workshop or people that are in the group to tag them right into the video because everything is just easily right there. But for some of you, you just might not like the feel of StreamYard. It does have some limitations when it came to implementing like some pre-recorded videos. I found a couple of hacks and different ways you can do it. But to tell you the truth, for platforms where you're going to, or events online that you're planning on streaming pre-recorded video, one of the ones that I really liked a lot, it's actually Ecamm. You can go to ecamm.com. Now for that, it was a little bit of a higher price end, not too much, but you could stream to multiple places. And it even allows you to do, like, for instance, like Joey sent a message on here that says, catching your live. Hey, Joey, glad you caught me live. That's cool. But on Ecamm, I could actually take his comment and then flash it onto the screen that you're looking at. You'd see his profile picture and his comment. And that's kind of neat because it creates more of this community building kind of atmosphere. And there's other ones that you can do some of those fancy features with. Another one is Be Live. Now, I really liked Be Live. I thought it was actually really cool. It was kind of fun and funky. They had some of those easy ways to share your comments or your fans' comments on screen so other people are engaging and seeing, everything that's being said from different people. But, at a certain point, I kind of had to pick, like, which one do I want to use? So for now, I just kind of put Be Live to the side. I might go back to it, but I will tell you, I actually really did. I liked it. It was good. Another one, Zoom and Google Meetup. Now with Zoom, you can do things like a live broadcast and you can send it out to multiple places. Like I could send a Zoom interview that I'm doing or video that I'm doing and broadcast it directly into my Facebook group if I wanted to do that. The one thing that I do really love about Zoom, two things. I think so many people are familiar with it. And especially after that lockdown, so many people were using it. There's not as many people going through growing pains. It's pretty simple to use. They do have the free account. You'll see like the Zoom logo at the bottom. For me, I pay for the monthly account. It works great for me being able to do interviews. And when I'm doing an interview for one of the pages that I work is Kudos Magazine. It's a magazine that I publish, but we'll do interviews in there, and I don't want that Zoom logo. So for me, it's worth a little bit of the investment per month to download it. Now, the other thing that I love about Zoom, this is super cool. If you have a paid subscription, they will download the video so that you can download it yourself. It'll save the video, but then it automatically extracts the audio file. So if you are a suave marketer, hopefully you're doing things to create not just video, but also an opportunity for people to connect to you with audio, whether it's through your podcast or if you hit a members portal area. You might have a section where you have the video, and people might not have time to watch the video, but they have time to download that audio clip onto their phone and listen to it later. So this goes back to understanding your market and understanding what are their needs so that you can help them, but also, finding tools like Zoom and how you can utilize it so that you can, prosper with what you're doing. Now, one of the more sophisticated ones is Vimeo. Now, I use Vimeo for storing my videos, and we might cover that in another video later this week. But I ended up pulling back from Vimeo and just getting into StreamYard just because the simplicity. But Vimeo is a little bit different because it's like a broadcast. You're streaming, live streaming, but it's more like a broadcast. So when you watch the news, have you ever noticed that they'll have like the home base person that's on the news, the anchor, and then they'll have Sally that's out in the middle of the hurricane. Whoa, she's got her microphone, and she's off-site and she's coming in live. And then they might switch to the guy that's there for Punchki Day. And he is also broadcasting live. Now, that's more of a broadcast. And with Vimeo, what's really cool is you can have multiple feeds coming into your stream from different locations. Meaning, like if I was using Vimeo right now, I could click on a button and then showcase Sally that's in the hurricane and Billy Bob that's grabbing his punchki. And then bring it into one camera source that you're seeing. And I could actually stream that out to multiple places like Facebook, Instagram, Periscope, YouTube, my own website, whatever it is that you want. But I did really like Vimeo, but it was a little bit more sophisticated than what I needed. And it did have a higher price point. I might go back to that later on. But it just wasn't something that I needed right at this time. So, you got to be smart as an entrepreneur so that you can stay in business and, dedicate your mind and money only to tools that are going to be appropriate for your goals. So, all of this comes down to the big thing. If you're doing streaming, this is so important. If there's one thing that you take out of this whole video, this is your golden nugget I want you to take. Are you ready? It's really simple. Number one, it's not just about the software that you have for you to be able to pull off an incredible online event. You have to also have the right internet connection and the right setup for the gig. So the short of it is making sure that you do have high-speed internet. And this is the big one, you guys. A lot of you are trying to do these combination of pre-recorded and live videos, like streaming it. You're trying to do it on Wi-Fi. Your system's going to crash. You're going to end up with a crackly face and like video that's going in and out. You might luck out and everything goes smooth, but generally it's just going to bomb out. And it's because your bandwidth's not strong enough. So you have a couple of choices. And I went through these growing pains on my own. Wanted to smash my head up against the wall a couple times. And then finally I ran into the right person with the right information. And I'm going to tell you, like literally over a freaking year, I'm not even exaggerating, of trying to figure this out. I had Comcast come out. We're not even going to do the Comcast boo-hoos. If you got a Comcast boo-hoo, give me the thumbs up, because a lot of us have been in that boat. But in this case, I can't blame it on Comcast. Part of it was my lack of understanding how much demand I could put on the bandwidth and have it pump out what I want. So your two choices are, it's pretty simple. You got to do a direct connect to an Ethernet, and it's not a fancy word. Don't get freaked out like, oh my gosh, she's on Ethernet. Ugh. All it is a cable that goes from your box, your cable box for your internet modem, into your computer. And it's almost like, remember the dial-up days? Remember that awful noise? Remember? Who remembers AOL? Who remember? Give me a thumbs up if you were there during that ping, ping, ping song. I was there. I remember. And I actually remember one of the first browsers was Prodigy, was one of the very first ones. I was in college, I think my freshman year, and we experienced internet for the first time. I'll never forget it. There's a group of craziness. But this is the thing. When you're connecting, you got to make sure that you have that strength so that you can connect. So Ethernet is just basically a cord that you're doing a direct connection right into your computer. The other thing is, they have come out with some really cool technology. Now, this is what I used, because for me to get Ethernet up to this computer, they were going to have to, it was crazy. They're going to have to drill a hole and do all this on the outside of my brick and pull in these wires. So I actually worked with his company is called Computer Ninja. And he came out and he checked out my setup, and he ended up getting these they're almost like routers for distributing the signal. In fact, when I come back, I will take pictures of what it is, and I will post it in the comments in the group, in the Digital Marketing Strategies for Entrepreneurs and Nonprofits group. I will come back and I will post a picture. But he set up these Wi-Fi kind of like adapters, signal expanders that provided the equal strength of an internet connection to my computer. And by golly, it worked. It worked. And I'm gonna tell you, I tried like the adapters that you bought at the AT&T store. I literally, you guys, it was like a circus sheet long of all the little tricks I tried, and they just weren't working. So fortunately, that Computer Ninjas, they were able to help and get me on track. So as you move forward to doing online events, I want you to become hyper focused that you have this in place, either an Ethernet connection, or you're doing one of these adapters, or this is another thing that can happen too, is with your phone. If you're going live, you might even want to look at turning off the connection to your Wi-Fi and go directly with your internet connection that you have on your phone. For whatever reason, we seem to have better results that way. And the other thing is, always double check on your phone before you go live that you have a good signal, that you're in a spot that has a good signal so that you don't lose your signal strength while you're streaming live. So just check that out. Those simple things can actually save you a lot of frustration. And it's important to, while it's slow and before your event, that you're creating a foundation. So, hey, tell me in the comments below, are you using Wi-Fi, Ethernet, or your cell phone connection? Which one are you using? I'd love to hear from you. And, guess what? They'll probably have something even better coming up soon that we'll be able to use. So as you get into events, the other thing is remembering what are the different formats that people connect with more. There's some people that are, visual. They like to read information. There's some that, like to just listen and do other things. And there's some that really enjoy video. Video is huge right now, but sometimes the clients that we need to reach might not be able to sit in front of video. So as you embrace that idea and you start creating your content, start looking at different ways that you can feed your clients information the way that they want it. So for instance, if I wanted to, after I was done with this video, I could take this video and download it and then take the audio file and upload it to, there's a company that's called Trint, TRINT.com, and they do transcribing. So I could take this video, upload it, and they'll transcribe it to everything that I'm saying. Now I could use that for my closed captions, or at the same time, I could become more appealing to some of the people that might want to just read that. And I would be able to create a PDF so they can download it. The only reason why this is key is it comes down to you understanding who is your market. Are they readers? Are they, are they the quiet type? Are they, and just give them what they want in the format they want so that they can connect with you and understand. Now, with events that are online, the one thing that's really cool is it creates an ability to communicate over a long period of time so that you can give them some of these bite-sized nuggets, whether it's audio, text, or video, or even in person, live and in person. So with events, yesterday we were talking briefly about your event's not the day of the event. It's the overall, before, the prelude, the post, the during, all of it. It's all connected, right? So when you start looking at that on delivering all of your content out, you've got to look at, as I'm creating these pieces of content, am I creating stuff that different people have resonate with them? So doing things like your email blast, and even posting into your Facebook group and page, your Instagram story, your LinkedIn newsfeed, or even on your website, and doing things that allow you to get that conversation going and creating buzz. And really with events, it's one of the big things that becomes advantageous for utilizing a strategy of online events is it creates a buzz about what you're doing and conversation about what you are bringing to the market or what accomplishments you're helping your customers with. And it creates a way for you to educate and help other people in a way that is focused around your business, and it becomes central to that. So keep that in mind as you're working out all the different ways of, promoting this event and getting it going, and look at what are the different formats, blogging, your video, even doing like little memes, or even like little teaser videos, and repurposing it. In fact, if you have a chance, go over to the Time to Beam page, and you'll see that I extracted, it was just a 1-minute clip from yesterday's video. And I really quickly added just a little short music clip and some little text clips. And then I threw it up there, and I used it, number one, as a teaser for the event. So I'm creating content, number one, that's hopefully, I really hope that what I'm sharing with you is going to help you guys. But I'm also creating resources for myself, whether it's promoting my business or utilizing it later on to create a resource, right? So as you go through and you start having this online event, you're going to walk away and you're going to have a lot of content that's created after it, whether it's your video and all those documents that you transcribed. You're going to have sort of two choices. And this becomes, like, I'll say, strategy number 2. And you should know this before you start your event, your online event, of which of the two you plan on doing. So the number one thing would be keep your online event up and online, publicly available, so it can kick booty with your SEO and get you more exposure on, Google and all these different places. You can leave it up there. That's great. And it can continue to build traffic and have them connect with you. In fact, I'm going to tell you, like, the power of SEO. I want to share this with you really quick is, long time ago, well, not that long ago, like maybe 8 years ago or something like that, I used to do segments on ABC 12 news on Sunday mornings. And I would go in and do different tips for event planning, holidays. I had actually a chance to promote a lot of the events that I was producing, the offline events I was producing, by creating segments that tied into it. For instance, we did a bridal show, and I think on that one segment, it was like 10 different segments that I came in and talked about everything wedding related. For me, it was great because it allowed me to draw more traffic to the event that I was producing and gain more exposure for all the clients that were working with me. So it was a win-win situation. But how I got that gig on ABC was I had unintentionally, I don't even think I really knew that much of what, SEO was, but I was blogging all the time about what I was doing, what was going on, sharing posts, sharing little teas. And one of the news producers was Googling something, and I think it was Halloween time. No, it was Thanksgiving. It was Thanksgiving. They wanted to get some information about like hosting a Thanksgiving celebration. And this lady actually ended up becoming one of my really good friends. So she called me, and I thought it was a joke at first. And she said, "Would you be willing to come in and do a segment on this?" And I said, "Yeah, okay, sure. Let's try it." And I did. And it was actually kind of cool. I did this little thing with carrots, and it's a story for a different time. But I nailed it out of the park. I was really blessed. And they asked me to come back again and again and again and again and again. And actually, at one point, it was like a regular Sunday morning gig. But it got really hard as my husband got sick. So I had to, make some changes in the way that I was operating. But what I will tell you is while I was, in the midst of that, when that popped up, it was literally because of SEO. The power of what I was posting attracted people to me. And then those people actually even blew up my message even louder. And the really cool thing was being able to take those relationships and then share great content with their viewers. And in a way, it was kind of selfish because I was promoting projects that I was working on and things that I was doing. But ultimately, it was a win-win situation. So it wasn't just taking, I was given. Anyhow, so that's option number one when you're doing your online event. You move forward and you keep it online. Even after the event, you keep getting traffic coming in there. And then this is option number two. And you guys, I never used to do this up until, I started working with my coach about 4 months ago, this new coach who is phenomenal. And the first time she told me, I literally, like, you want me to do what? You delete the videos. You delete them. I know. I was joking. Like, I put all this effort into presenting and creating. Why would I delete them? And she was explaining that you take content that's like this, and then you start to create your members area and you upload it so people later on can view it and engage in it. So it becomes more of an asset versus an advertising promotional piece. So you've got one of two camps. After your event, you can either keep it online for your foot traffic and, places for your clients to engage in a unique way, or you can remove it and archive it in your library so it becomes an asset to your company for your clients. But they each have different purposes on why it would work. Some of you, it wouldn't work. It would, be silly to do that. But for others, one may make more sense. Or you could even be willing to just try out what are some things that you want to do. Now, for us, we have started expanding and creating, like we've got this new Beam membership area. And with that, it gives us a place that we can work closer with our clients in a group format coaching, along with some little breakout one-on-one sessions. But the membership library is a place that people can go access and watch trainings on their own, because sometimes you don't necessarily want to be live and have to do Q&A. You might be just searching out, a specific thing that you want to get to. And with this new membership area is creating an opportunity so people can work solo or also come back into the group area for training. And that's like the big thing of what we're working on right now is cleaning up some of these things in our members area. We're going to have it. We actually have it just about ready now. I'm super excited. But this comes down to also, you understanding of what is your goal of where you want to go with your business. And for you, it may be worthwhile to just work independently and take your time, do that turtle speed of getting into where you're going. But for some others, you may actually be ready to say, I want to fast track this. I'm tired of wasting my time watching 500 different guru videos with little bits of what to do, but it's not relative to my specific thing that I need to fix today. You may actually be to the point that you're just exhausted and feel hopeless because you're not getting engagement. You're not connecting with the right people. When you have the opportunity to work with a coach or a consultant, it gives you a chance to break through barriers and not have to go through a lot of the trial and errors and nonsense headaches and spending money that doesn't have a result. And for me, I will tell you, I have worked with coaches in the past that have helped me. Some of them were good. Some of them were a big waste of freaking money, big waste. And some of them actually just gave me little golden nuggets of things that helped me kind of get my thinking on track. It's important for you to find out, who may be able to help you fast track, and you might have to guinea pig with some different things. And some of them may be coaches that you work with briefly and then move on to, the next area so you can perfect, because we all have different weaknesses and strengths. When we're with the right people, they can help pull that out so that we can really become what we're meant to be fully online or in our business, So if you've worked with a coach or a consultant before, drop me a 1, like you're number 1, because you do kind of feel a little bit maybe selfish, saying, hey, I'm going to invest this money into myself. But the truth is it's not selfish. It's being self-caring. It's being willing to invest in yourself to pull out the best in you. And, I'll give you one example, and I don't like to gossip or whatever, but I had paid to go to one training. This was a couple of years ago, and it was out of state, and it was expensive. It was expensive. It was thousands and thousands of dollars. And I thought that when I got there, I was going to be working with someone who's going to show me these strategies and formats and help me fine tune some of the gaps that we had. And at the time, it was actually really bad timing for me to go because we were having some family things going on. And, my son was transitioning to high school, and that's a different story. So I knew when I went to the event, I was only going to be able to be there for, I think, 2 or 3 of the 5 days that they had. And I was fine with that. I just wanted to get what are my knowledge. I was hoping if I spent this money, I was going to get my knowledge. And unfortunately, that I didn't get what I thought I was paying for. When I got there, the coach just wanted to talk about a new endeavor involving, recreational marijuana or whatever. And that's cool. You can do whatever you want, but that wasn't what I paid my money for. And then I ended up engaging with this person, and all of a sudden they're talking about like tax code with shit that they didn't know. And I knew that they didn't know because I have a CPA. So I'm standing there, and I was practically in tears because I thought, what the did I come here for? Number one, you're supposed to coach and guide. And it was a pain in my wallet and in my time slot. But I'm going to tell you the cool thing that came out of that, and it always happens. It really wasn't a waste of money. And the reason why is I made connections at that workshop with people that were like-minded like me, people that were getting ready to plunge into new opportunities of doing some of these online strategies. And actually, two of the people I've become pretty good friends with. I've stayed in touch with like five of the other people that were there, but two of them I've become very good friends with. And one of them specifically helped pull me out of a rut with some positive perspective and mindset. And it was kind of cool because we ran into each other on the charter bus that we were taking to the resort where this training was at. And she was from Canada. And as soon as she started talking, I recognized she was from Canada, but because I have family that is from Montreal, from Verdun. But anyhow, those relationships became blessings and it was wonderful. So, as you try new things, don't like get into the like, I'm not even mad about it. It was a waste of money of what that lady was talking about because I created these connections that were so much more meaningful. And I am grateful for the wisdom that I did get because I did learn little bits from her. And that's really what life is all about, learning and growing. But you've got to find the right tools and people that can help propel you down that path. And then sometimes they'll do a hiccup, like talking about crap that's not relative to you, and they might change and you might have to move and find somebody else that's relative to what you're doing. But and fortunately now I've been working with this group coaching, and it's not inexpensive, but the knowledge that they're sharing and the troubleshooting that they're able to provide is saving me time on the back end. And that's like most things, isn't it? Do you find that if you put your money and time into the right things, you can save time and money? And that happens to be one of the cases on why I do that. And what's funny is my coach has a coach. She actually has two coaches. And when we're in college, for instance, or you're working in corporate America, one of the advantages that you have is access to group mind, of meaning you have other people to bounce these ideas off of. A lot of small business owners and entrepreneurs can really get stuck in this rut of this solo minded environment where we don't know where to go. And that can be one of the things that can help bring you to that next level in your company, is getting into group coaching or consulting to guide you along the way. But I will say it can actually even be helpful for corporate leaders as well. And the reason why is because too often, I'm preaching to you, too often, corporate America can start to become stagnant on what is, I've always done it this way mindset. We've always done it that way. Well, that's the way to do it anymore. It's not 1844 and it's the first telegraph. These are done, right? So sometimes if you have a person that can guide and show you different strategies of what's working or what to try or help you fine tune, can save you so much freaking time and so much headache. But you got to make sure continually if that person is going in the same path that you want to take your company, so it's not frivolous money. Nobody has time for that, throwing money out the window, whether you're corporate or you're a small business owner or entrepreneur. You got to stay tapped in to systems that are working and helping you produce results. And you can measure that. So, but gosh, this hour is going by. It's going by so fast. I got to talk faster, right? So a couple of things that I just want to make sure that I share with you really quick is Saturday, we're going to do a watch party replay where I'll take all the videos over this whole week and then have it grouped into one. So if you get stressed out and you can't get through all the videos as we are letting them out this week, don't worry about it. The videos are going to be up there for another week. You'll be able to watch it and go back and send me questions, whether you want to drop it in the comments or send me a direct message. Feel free to do that. But the big thing is make sure that you take the time to watch the videos over the next couple of weeks, because I will be deleting these and then putting them over into the members area. And that might be something that you're going to be interested in hearing more. On Thursday, I'm going to start to share with you a little bit more of a insight on ways that you can work with my agency. And my agency, I mean, you're like seeing me, but I'm going to tell you the truth. The stuff that my agency creates is not created just by me, even including I'm not sure if you know this, but we publish a magazine that's called Kudos Magazine. And I have an amazing, kick-ass, awesome team that I've been working with for, I think we've been producing that magazine like 7 years or something like that. I have to go back and double check. Getting all my anniversaries confused with my different companies. But I've got an amazing team that I work with, including our photographers, writers, editors, graphic designers. In fact, I'm hoping I can get Nancy, who is one of the graphic designers that's worked with my agency for a long time, a very, very long time, probably at least 10 years. That we've been working, maybe not quite that long, that she's been working with our agency and helping us design the magazine. But later on, as we're getting into all these events, consulting and stuff like that, it's good to have people like Nancy look at, what is the branding and the imaging. And each of us in our group have our own specialty. And the beautiful thing is when we work together, we're focused on one thing. How can we help our clients reach their connected market, whether it's through video, graphic design, written word, and, all of those are a powerhouse together. So I hope that you start to look at different ways that you can start to use different content to connect with your people. So Saturday, take a look for that replay. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop me a direct message, and I'll get back to you. Also, if you are interested in even setting up a one-on-one free consultation, let me know. You can drop me a comment or you can send me a direct message, and we can do a free, I think it's a 45-minute consultation that we offer online to get a better idea of what your business is, so you can understand how our agency can help you propel into that next level. So I wish all of you amazing success and a lot of happiness. The big thing that I hope that you take away from this video is not to be afraid that communication and formats are changing. They're always going to change. But if you could, tell me in the comments, do this one favor for me. Tell me in the comments, what is your favorite platform for your social media? Is it Facebook? Is it YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Snapchat? Should we keep going? I'll stop for now. All right. Oh, podcasts. That's the big one. And I'm going to tell you what, you need to keep your eyes on podcasts. And if you're not in it, you better get in it like quick. Smart for a lot of reasons. I'll talk about that more in the private group later too. All right. In the meantime, you guys, I am so grateful for all of you tuning in. I hope you have a beautiful day. And again, just give your business lots of love, okay? One day at a time. I'll see ya tomorrow. Oh, and then tomorrow we've got a really fun lineup. I'm still going to be sharing some of that information with you on Memory Madness. All right. See you guys. Bye-bye.